Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is Ash Quest, and it's time once again for the weekly installment of Tome Tuesday, in which our very own Sir Pan of Cake is storming Firetop Mountain on the hunt for the Warlock Zagor. In this playthrough, we have stormed, indeed, for we have begun to draw out our second map, exploring as much as I know to be possible, and ending on page 205, from which we will immediately continue our adventure. Our handy map in the center, our stat sheet on the left, and our dice tray on the right. I have an assortment of dice today to help with tracking different variables, and we will be sure to use them while we count down the health of our enemies. 205. Let us begin. The door opens, and you find yourself in a dark crypt of some kind. The room is very large. At one end is an altar, and various coffins are strewn about the room. There is a door behind you in the south wall, and also one in the west wall. If you want to investigate the room further, turn to 254. If the place gives you the creeps, you can leave via the west door by turning to 280. Well, I've said it before, and I will continue to say it again. Sir Pan is no chump. He's no coward. He's someone who meticulously searches, ensuring that he has covered every aspect of a given situation to ascertain it of the dangers involved. We will be investigating the room further and turning to 254. Wouldn't surprise me if I ran into a vampire. The silence is deathly. A slow drip startles you as you creep around the coffins. The altar is ornately carved and studded with jewels. Beautifully woven drapes hang from the walls, although they are threadbare in places. There are 3 coffins in the room. A creaking noise makes you whirl around, and the light from your lantern falls on the largest coffin. It is opening. As you watch, a tall man with a white face sits upright. His eyes open and fall on you. His expression changes from one of tranquility to one of abject hate. His mouth opens and a terrifying hiss comes from his throat. His teeth are wolf-like. He beckons you to come over. Do you approach him as he wishes? Draw your sword and prepare to fight. Reach into your bag for another means of attack, or run for the west door. I believe that this creature could very well be a vampire. Now, in the past, I've given these creatures the benefit of the doubt. I've approached them. I have tried to help. Sir Pan has reached a mighty hand of acceptance to pull up the fallen, the ones considered evil. They are misunderstood. But this time, something is different. Something is different about this entire vibe. This person in this coffin, I believe that he believes we are his next meal. We will not mindlessly approach. We will reach into the bag for another means of attack by turning to 279, for I have the silver crucifix, and it is possible that we can fight him on his own terms. The creature you are facing is a vampire. You have various lines of attack. Your sword will do little real damage. A crucifix will hold him at bay, but will not kill him. If you have either of these, you may use it to get you through the west door. If you are determined to kill the vampire, you must overpower it and drive a wooden stake through its heart. If you have a wooden stake and wish to try to kill the vampire, turn to 17. If you have none of these, draw your sword and turn to 333. Well, we're not running from this fight. Sir Pan is not going to become a Sir Panpire. Sorry. Sir Pan is going to draw his sword. We are turning to 333. The stats are high, and it is for this reason. As you swing your sword at the creature, it reaches out and catches the blade in its hand. Your weapon is almost ineffective against the considerable strength of the creature. You realize this in panic, but you must fight on. If you defeat the vampire, turn to 327. If you wish to try to escape, which you may only do after 6 full attack rounds, you will have to be lucky. If you're unlucky, you must continue this fight for another 6 rounds before trying to escape again. If you roll an 11 or 12 and you are unlucky, then turn to 224. This is very, very interesting. But with a skill of 10 and a stamina of 10, this vampire is no pushover. We are going to have to rely on the full might of Sir Pan for this epic battle. Still, there is no way that I would be able to leave without facing down this creature. His attack roll is going to be his skill of 10 plus the 8 to create an 18. This is actually going to be a fight for Sir Pan of Cake, but we have a skill of 12, and it's a draw. Both parties have rolled 18 altogether. I need to remind myself what happens in a draw. I think nothing happens, but it happens so rarely. If both are the same, you have both missed. Start the next attack round from step 1. All right. Now it is worth noting that he rolled pretty high on those dice, and I rolled pretty low comparatively. Let's start again with a new attack round. This time he's rolled a 9. The vampire has an attack score of 19, and we have rolled a 9 as well to go along with our 12. Ours is higher, and we have wounded the vampire. That is a total of 2. 2 decrease, not increase. All right, with 1 hit in, Sir Pan's confidence has not wavered, but it has not grown quite. We are still very cautious, and the vampire strikes, this time with an attack roll of 15. Sir Pan deftly dodges with a total attack roll of 12 plus 5 plus 3. This is 20, and strikes at the vampire again. The vampire hisses in pain, in contempt. It is difficult to say, but before Sir Pan can try to rationalize the movements that this evil creature makes, it strikes again, this time with a 20. And Sir Pan's roll, a 20. Total, 12 plus 8. It is an attack wherein both parties have missed. A bead of sweat rolls down Sir Pan's forehead. As the next combat round begins, he waits for a move from the vampire. So far, this has served him well enough. The vampire does not disappoint, and lunges, this time with a 15 attack score. Sir Pan counters, and sees the opening he needs to wound the vampire. We are down to 4 stamina left on the vampire. This fight is starting to become a bit of a challenge, but it is also something Sir Pan now feels is winnable. He's not leaving this room until the vampire goes down, and it will be the vampire that goes down. The vampire retaliates with an attack score of 19, which is 12, 13, 14, 15, 19. Once again, a draw, and both parties miss. Without missing a beat, the vampire attacks again, this time with an attack score of 18. Sir Pan sees an opening and matches it, but misses yet again with a 12 plus 2 plus 4. His 18 rivals that of the vampire. Ladies, gentlemen, NBs, they are dancing around this room. The vampire lunges yet again, this time with an 18 again, and Sir Pan counters this time. Finally, for the first time in this entire adventure, with an attack that misses its mark. It's a 17. That's just enough for Sir Pan to get wounded, but the shield, the crescent shield, shines. Whoops, we don't count that, and in addition, we also knocked the vampire's health around. Try that again. We've rolled a 1 on the shield, the crescent shield, and it has not helped us recover any wounds. We've not blocked the damage. We have actually lost 2 stamina. We are down to 16 at this point. All right. In that case, let's continue. Sir Pan does not take this as a loss. He has learned something. He knows how the vampire moves, how the vampire attacks, and the vampire attacks again, this time with a 16 total attack score, which Sir Pan brushes off, seeing the pattern, seeing what the vampire is going to do before he does it. This, my friends, brave heroes, was the strike that brings the vampire down to his last bit of fighting spirit. Realizing Sir Pan is not going to be an easy meal for him, he comes in one last time, fangs baring, hissing, claws out, and in a bit of a panic, attacks with a 15. Sir Pan's counter is one that lays the vampire creature low once and for all. Without having driven the wooden stake through his heart, we have finally destroyed this vampiric creature. We will now turn to 327. The body on the floor turns visibly older in front of your eyes. The face looks 50, then 90, then well over 100 years old. The skin rots and the eyes decompose as you watch. You notice a movement coming from the creature's chest. As the remnants of the vampire decay, a small black face breaks through its chest. It resembles a small black shrew, but as it frees itself and unfurls its wings, you realize it is a bat. You lunge at it, but it flaps away into the darkness. You search the whole chamber quickly. Remember, there are several other coffins there, and find 30 gold pieces, a book, and a Y-shaped stick. Enter them on your adventure sheet. If you will leave behind one item of equipment you are already carrying. You can leave through the west door. If you are hungry, you may take provisions here, and you can add 3 luck points for defeating the vampire. Well, that was quite the battle, and we're going to definitely draw out the crypts, and I'll go ahead and put a cross on one of them to kind of show what's going on here. A cross on several. There were 30 gold pieces, as well as a Y-shaped stick, which I believe is probably a diviner's rod, and a book. And I don't know what the book is, but I can take these if I leave behind one item of equipment I'm already carrying. I should have taken one of the other items of equipment in the previous room, even though it would have been redundant. Well, I think I'll put down the silver crucifix. That's what I think I'll do. So, we're going to mark out the silver crucifix. I have an additional, what did I say? 30 gold pieces, 30 GP, a book, and a Y-shaped stick, which I'm just going to put, well, I guess I'll write it out. Y-shaped stick. Now, it is entirely possible that these are worthless, that none of them do anything worthwhile. But either or, we take our spoils. We can't add our 3 luck points because we are at our maximum luck of 12 already. But we will go ahead and take provisions, I believe. I think I'll eat one of them, one meal. And if I'm not wrong, that adds 4 stamina. Is that correct? Yes. Add 4 points to your stamina score. So I will do that. We don't need to bring it above the 20. We actually have 8 meals left. Sir Pan has a lot of food. We're keeping our sweet cheese and our black glove. We don't know what those do just yet. We still have our potion of invisibility. We still have 2 potions of strength. And so we continue to 380. You are in a narrow east-west corridor. Looking westwards, you can see a crossroads ahead. You go on to the crossroads. Turn to 37. An east-west corridor, and we had no choice but to go west. So, west we go. Turn to 37. Standing at the crossroads, you may either go north, turn to 366, west, turn to 11, or south, turn to 277. Interesting. Interesting. I believe, for no real reason, I would like to go south and turn to 277. I've been going north all this time, but I feel like this will offer me a chance to explore, which is what Sir Pan and I do best. You are in a short passageway which comes to a dead end several meters ahead of you. You may search for secret passages, turn to 146, or you may return to the crossroads and either follow the passages ahead to the north or turn to the west. What do you think Sir Pan would do? Of course we're going to search for secret passages and turn to 146. It now dawns upon me that this may be the way I'm supposed to go, but you find no secret passages. You return to the crossroads and proceed either northwards or westwards. Oh, I love that. I love that. It is just a dead end. It gave me the opportunity to search for secret passages, but the result was the same. So, westwards we go by turning to 11. You follow the passage westwards until it turns round a corner to the south. Just before the bend is a signpost which reads, "Under construction." In front of you is the beginning of a stairway leading downwards. Only 3 steps have been built so far. A number of shovels, picks, and other tools were lying on the ground by the steps, but as you turn the corner, they suddenly flurried into action and began working on the steps. You are now watching various tools digging and hammering as if being handled by invisible workers. A humming chant becomes louder, and you recognize it. It's, "Hey ho, hey ho. It's off to work we go." As you stand watching, you start to chuckle. The scene is quite amusing. You sit and watch, and even manage to chat to some of the magical tools. Gain 2 stamina points and 1 skill point whilst you relax. Then turn back up the passageway to the crossroads, where you may go either northwards or southwards. We actually gained a skill point. That's quite lovely. I don't think we can take advantage of that because the actual max has been reached, right? Our skill is 12. So, it doesn't say that we can't exceed our initial score, which is already quite perfect. If we could, that would be something very amazing. But at any rate, we can gain our 2 stamina points. I have no problem with that because we're down to 22. So we'll go up to, we're down to 20. We'll go up to 22. We're just 1 point away from being in perfect health. We have perfect luck, perfect skill. We are perfect. And that was a nice little break. We'll go ahead and mark the southward bend, and we'll put the stairs there, but that's a dead end, so we'll try to mark out that it's a dead end. And now it's time to go back, and I can go southwards, turning to 250. I went southwards, but interestingly enough, I don't think I had turned to 250 previously. It was just a second ago. It was just a second ago that I went to 250. Or that I went to the South Passage, but this is a different number in the book, so did something happen? We go back to the crossroads and we go south. You are in a short passageway which comes to a dead end several meters ahead of you. You study the rock face carefully, but there appears to be no way through. You return to the crossroads, and this time continue straight ahead northwards. Turn to 366. 366. You are following a passageway which leads ahead to the north. After several meters, it bends sharply to the east. You continue eastwards until you eventually come across a narrow opening in the north wall. You may go through this opening or continue eastwards. So, it simply bends to the east, which is just fine for the purposes of my drawing. And I can go through that opening or continue eastwards. We're going to check out the opening, turning to 89. You climb through the opening and find yourself at the top of a narrow staircase leading downwards. Cautiously, you descend the stairs. Turn to 286. Oh my goodness. The narrow staircase is cut into the rock, and there are about 20 steps leading down. At the bottom of the steps, a passageway leads you into a large open chamber. This chamber stinks of putrefying flesh. The smell is so bad that you are tempted to turn back. 3 bodies lie in the chamber. You may either search the bodies or tiptoe quietly through the room. What will you do? This illustration is not for this passage, by the way. It's for the one below it. And we won't read into that, but I just love the artwork. The giant rats here, amazing. We're going to search the first body, and I think we might tiptoe through the room after, but we'll get to 294. In doing so, how did I skip that? 2 pages over. You find 5 gold pieces in the pockets of the corpse. Enter these on your adventure sheet and add 1 luck point for your find. You may now either search the second body, search the third body, or tiptoe through the north room. Through the room northwards. Well, we're going to add those 5 GP. We're going to bring our 4 GP up to a 9 in doing so. I need to get that all cleaned up. I'll do that before the next playthrough. Let's search the second body now by turning to 275. Oh no. As you move over towards the second body, you accidentally kick the third corpse on the floor. Its eyes flick open and it quickly sits up and slashes at you with its long, sharp fingernails. Test your luck. If you are lucky, the creature misses. I am lucky. The creature misses. We're now at 11 luck points. Turn to 230. So, I turned to 230 regardless. But if I was unlucky, I would suffer 1 stamina point worth of damage. So, not a big deal either way. Turn to 230. The creature now standing before you is a semi-decayed man. His quick eyes dart from side to side watching you. His long tongue flashes out with a hissing noise. His teeth and nails are sharp, and he doesn't seem to be afraid of your weapon. He is a ghoul. He has the ability to paralyze you if he scores 4 separate wounds on you during this battle, so beware. If he kills or paralyzes you, turn to 64. Oh no. Oh no. This one's going to be quite unnerving. With 7 stamina and a skill of 8. This ghoul doesn't quite have the strength and agility of the vampire, but we need to take him down quickly. His attack score is a terrible 10. We automatically destroy him on that combat round. He loses 2 of his stamina. His next attack score is a 6 plus his 8 for a 14. All we have to do is roll a 2 for that to be a draw. And ironically, I almost do, but I rolled a 3, and that brings his health down by another 3. Sir Pan has probably slayed this ghoul's master. For vampires that turn others, create spawn, create ghouls, and this is likely not a full-fledged vampire. Another combat round, and this time, the ghoul has a total attack roll of 15. 7 plus 8. We must roll at least a 3, and we do so, bringing the ghoul's down health again by 2 stamina. Bringing his health down by stamina. Bringing his stamina down by 2. 1 more attack round, and the ghoul lunges with a skill of 12. Total attack roll, and we deftly dodge Sir Pan, beheading this monster without taking a single wound, as always. We have defeated him, and we will turn to 390. Exhilarating battles in this one. And lots of page skipping. The ghoul twitches and dies at your feet. You search its body and find little of interest. A couple of earrings, worth 1 gold piece between them, are in one of its pockets. You may take these. If you haven't already searched the first body, you do so and find 5 gold pieces, which you may also take. You may also stop here, rest, and eat provisions. You can add 2 luck points for killing the ghoul. Now you may either press on northwards or search the second body. We will turn to 393, because that's what I wanted to do to begin with, but I also must continue drawing this map. And we're going to draw the stairs, and we're going to draw this room and the 3 bodies, which are just stick figures. And I don't need to take any provisions, so I'm not going to do that. I am going to increase my luck back up to its 12. And not beyond, because that was my initial score. And I will search the second body. 393, which actually is just a hop and a skip down here. You search the pockets of the other body and find 8 gold pieces, a bottle of liquid, and an old piece of parchment. You may take these items. To read the parchment, turn to 212. To test the liquid, turn to 369. Oh my goodness. I don't want to do either of those things yet, but I do want to take the parchment. And no, we're not going to test the liquid. We're not going to test the liquid. I'm not even going to take the liquid. finding a liquid on a ghoul. I will read the parchment. And we will turn to 212. I need to go ahead and add the single gold piece. I'm not really too worried about the single gold piece, but I'll mark it down anyway because I don't know when I'm going to reach a merchant or someone of renown who might be able to take my gold and what the difference might mean between 1 and no gold pieces. It might mean something significant. We will turn to 212 unless this passage continues. It does not. 212 it is. And 212 is where we will stop. For this is our save point, markedly not very far away from 205, but of course the numbers being close do not imply any sort of progress or lack thereof. And this will be the end of this phase of Sir Pan's adventure. Thank you so much for joining me and for continuing to support the Tome Tuesday series. After the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, I think we may move on to a Hero Quest book. That's what I think. I have the Hero Quest adventure books. They are novels as well as quest maps, as well as choose your own adventure books. There's a lot going on with those. There's a lot of variety. But I do want to complete the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, and I don't want to go back into Lone Wolf yet. I kind of want to continue exploring the different game books out there and providing different series for you for Tome Tuesday. But that is all for now. Thank you very much for having given this video a chance. I hope that you're already subscribed. If not, please feel free to check out the rest of the videos on my channel and see if they're something that tickles your fancy. And I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and bye for now.